Imagine diving down through clear water and landing on a main street, a stoplight, still on its pole, a church steeple, pointing not toward heaven, but toward you. These are real places, towns with names, histories, graveyards, grudges, towns that America chose to drown, on purpose, so a dam could be built and a reservoir could fill. This is the story of the towns at the bottom. Want me to adjust the tone, more cinematic, more journalistic, punchier cuts, tweak the pacing for a specific length, or write voiceover directions / on-screen text cues alongside it? Why it happened, the dam era. From the 1930s through the 1970s, America was in the grip of a dam-building frenzy. The federal government, through the Army Corps of Engineers and the Bureau of Reclamation, saw rivers as problems to solve. Flood control, hydroelectric power, irrigation, progress. The math was simple. Dams needed water. Water needed valleys. Valleys had people. People got moved. Entire communities were condemned through eminent domain. Residents were paid, sometimes fairly, often not, and told to leave. Then the gates closed, the water rose, and a town disappeared. Map animation showing dam construction timeline across the U.S., 1930s to 1970s. Stat to show on screen, over 3,000 dams were built in the U.S. during this era. Many sacrificed inhabited valleys. Case study, Osage, West Virginia. One of the most haunting examples, the towns of the Monongahela River Valley, submerged by Tygart Lake in West Virginia. The town of Grafton's surrounding communities saw homes, farms, and businesses condemned in the 1930s. But perhaps the most famous case is Old Adaminaby in Australia, though the American equivalent is the Quabbin Reservoir in Massachusetts. To build it in 1939, 4 towns were officially erased from the map: Dana, Enfield, Greenwich, and Prescott. Roughly 2,500 people were relocated. Graves were moved, over 650 buildings demolished, 7.5 million trees planted to filter the new watershed. Today, Quabbin supplies drinking water to 2.5 million people in Boston. And in dry summers, the stone foundations of those lost towns re-emerge from the waterline like memories. Historic photos of the 4 towns, then the reservoir today. Dana, Massachusetts Enfield, Massachusetts Greenwich, Massachusetts Prescott, Massachusetts Quabbin, Reservoir. The human cost, voices of displacement. The hardest part wasn't packing up a house. It was packing up a cemetery. In community after community, the government required that graves be exhumed and relocated. Families watched their grandparents' bones move to higher ground. A final, surreal indignity. In the flooding of Lake Lanier in Georgia, which displaced over 700 families in the 1950s, many residents were black sharecroppers given little notice and less compensation. The racial dimension of who got drowned out is a chapter of this story that's only recently being reckoned with. Across Appalachia, Native American lands, and rural white communities alike, the pattern was the same. The government decided your town was worth more as a lake bottom. You had no veto. Archival interviews, if available, newspaper headlines, panning shots of modern reservoir. When the water drops, ghost towns resurface. Here's where it gets eerie. During droughts, and drought is becoming more common, the water levels fall, and the towns come back. In 2022, the historic drought in the American West dropped Lake Mead to its lowest level since it was first filled in the 1930s. And something emerged. The ghost town of St. Thomas, Nevada, settled by Mormon pioneers in 1865, drowned by Hoover Dam in 1938. Walls, a foundation. A pair of shoes from 1938 found in the silt. In Spain's Galicia, the medieval village of Aceredo rises every few years from the Lindoso Reservoir. In 2022, villagers who were children when it was flooded walked its streets again for the first time in decades. The water was supposed to be forever. It wasn't. Drone footage of exposed St. Thomas ruins, comparison photos before/after water drop. We treat reservoirs like natural features now. We boat on them, swim in them, drink from them. But almost everyone has a town at the bottom. Every reservoir is a trade, someone's home for someone else's water. someone's past for someone else's future. The question we never really asked at the time, and are still learning to ask, is who made that trade and who paid the price? The steeple is still down there, pointing up,